Today I want to teach you how to improve your breathing efficiency and decrease your air consumption on a dive. The option is to dive frequently. Perfectly streamlined, neutrally buoyant, just swimming. The calmer you are, properly streamlined in the water. Mindful breathing. Why do we want to decrease our air consumption again? To have longer dives, to feel more comfortable. It's a bit of a competition with yourself and other people. When people ask you how much air do you have, it's kind of nice to be able to say more than other people around. You know what I'm saying. The option is to dive frequently. I know not all of us can do that, but if you have a chance, the more you dive, eventually your air consumption is going to be a lot better. When I started diving, I was quite young, so my air consumption was never terrible, but I know now as an instructor, I quite often can even accomplish 2 dives on 1 tank while my students are diving 1 dive per 1 tank. Of course, I would never recommend starting a dive with below 220 bar of air, but that is something I have done in the past when we were dealing with situations. I mean, do as I say, not as I do, right? And the reason that diving more frequently helps decrease your air consumption is because of some of these following reasons. You're more likely to be calm underwater, and the lower your heart rate is, the lower your stress levels are, the less air you're going to be consuming. The more efficient your body is in actually transferring the oxygen from your lungs to the rest of your body, you're staying nice and calm, your heart can just focus on doing its job. You're not expending unnecessary energy on stress. As we know, stress increases our breathing, our heart rate, and everything. So it decreases our air consumption. The calmer you are, it's also likely that you're moving less. So you'll see all the most professional divers, they're there super calm, perfectly streamlined, neutrally buoyant, just swimming slowly, calmly. It's not a race. It's to minimize your movement. You only want to be moving with your legs, and then you're controlling your buoyancy with your lungs. You're not flailing around with your hands, you're not touching coral, you're not grabbing onto people, you're not inflating and deflating your BCD, you're not stealing fins, you're not doing silly things, you're just slowly, meditatively kicking with your fins. Speaking of fins, having good quality fins that are comfortable for you, that you know how to do a frog kick potentially, which is also more air consumption efficient versus just the normal scissor kick, the frog kicks like these ones, is also a way to ensure to decrease your fin consumption. Some fins are quite tough on your feet and ankles, and you'll find that your body is in pain because of them, so making sure you have fins that are well suited to your level of diving and experience is going to really help you, making sure you're comfortable, calm, therefore not using your air as much. If you want a video about fins, let me know. I'm thinking about doing it. Going along the correct fins and just comfortable equipment, good quality equipment, you will also decrease your air consumption if you are properly streamlined. Being streamlined means you don't have bits and pieces hanging off you. You hold your hands quite close to your body and you're just calmly kicking through the water column. The next thing is to stay warm. Now you guys know I'm an absolute wuss when it comes to scuba diving or free diving. I always have really warm wetsuits. Believe it or not, that was not always the case. When I started diving back in 2012 in Australia, I could actually wear a 3mm suit in 20 degrees of water. Now I'm in a dry suit. You are not shivering, your body's not stressed, and therefore you're not using as much air to keep yourself warm. If sometimes you need to have a thicker wetsuit, there's no shame in that. You're actually going to have better air consumption. Before I get into the most important tip, I also quickly want to mention that mindful breathing, that you're really conscious to take long, slow, deep breaths. Personally, I found that the best way for me to decrease my air consumption is I didn't think about my breathing at all. That is, if you're not breathing, really shallow, hyperventilating, and if you're just breathing normally, then your air consumption will be better. However, if you are breathing really shallow, really quick, then being mindful of the deep breaths will certainly help. The better off you'll be because you'll be calmer, you'll be breathing deeper, you'll be using less oxygen. A little thing, if you want to have longer dives, just dive more shallow. The coral reef and the things you see in the ocean are spectacular at 5 meters, 10 meters, 15 meters before you even need to go to 20 meters. So doing a shallow dive is nothing to be ashamed of. You actually get to see more color because more red comes through the water, like, because colors disappear the deeper you go because of refraction. With every 10 meters you go underwater, you're halving the volume of air available for you to breathe. So the deeper you are, the greater the volume of air you'll breathe, but you'll only be getting, the same lungful essentially. So the deeper you are, the faster your air goes. That's why it's also so important to make sure you check your air consumption at deeper dives, because instead of, 40, 50 minutes that you'd be used to at 10, 15 meters, suddenly you can only do 20 minutes. And now, the most important thing in terms of decreasing your air consumption is your fitness and cardio. I know you don't want to hear this, but the better your heart works, the more efficient it is at transferring oxygen into your body, the less air you will need to breathe and consume. So this goes for every athlete, every sport person. The more you do exercise, the more your body's accustomed to it and the more efficiently it works. So if you want to be a bigger diver, believe it or not, go swimming in your pool. Go for a run, go for a bike ride, do skiing or AFL or any sort of sport. Just stay active, keep healthy, and not only will that make you live longer and all the benefits of it, like the positive chemicals, serotonin, endorphins, but it will also decrease your air consumption and make you be able to outlast all your dive buddies on the next dive.